Looking at the Krish and Aditya case study now. Let's scroll down and read the question. Which of the following statements is most likely incorrect? Statement 1, Statement 2, or neither statements are incorrect? Scroll up and we'll start reading from the top until we get to these two statements. Looks like our statements are right up here, so not too much reading to do. Mark Krish and Mahatma Aditya are financial analysts working as private investment consultants in India. During a recent departmental meeting arranged to welcome newly recruited subordinate analysts, Krish made the following comments. So these two statements are what we're going to be determining are accurate or are incorrect or correct, and then we'll go from there. Statement 1, the dividend discount model defines cash flows as dividends. That is a correct statement. It's kind of right there in the definition of the term. It's the dividend discount model. We're taking those dividends, which are cash flows, and then discounting them back to kind of help determine our value. Statement 2, compared to other discounted cash flow models, the dividend discount model is less sensitive to short-term fluctuations in the underlying value. This is also going to be a correct answer. And so the reason for that is companies really do not like cutting their dividends. So they'll typically keep their dividend amount stable and the payout ratio stable as well. And companies that are paying out dividends are generally just more stable companies. So that's going to lead this dividend discount model, because we're going to have more stable cash flows and predictable cash flows that we'll be discounting back. It's going to be less sensitive than other valuation models. So we can conclude that statement 2 is also a correct statement. So let's scroll down. Statement 1 and 2 are both correct. This is asking which are most likely incorrect. Statement 1 is not incorrect. Statement 2 is not incorrect. And we'll go with 3. Neither statement 1 or 2 are incorrect. Answer C. Question 2. Based on the information provided in Exhibit 1, the dividend discount model would be a suitable choice for valuing Riot Oil Industries, Shandaria Industries, or both companies. So let's take a look at where we left off, and we'll start reading. So it looks like we'll be looking at Exhibit 1. We got our two companies here, Riot and Shandaria, but let's read the paragraph before. As part of the job interview process, the candidates have been asked to suggest the most suitable method for valuing two companies, Riot Oil Industries and Shandaria Industries. So that looks exactly like what we're asked in the question. Each of the candidates was furnished with the most recent 10-year data on dividends for both companies. Exhibit 1 presents the data given, where EPS equals earnings per share, DPS equals dividends per share, and payout ratio equals dividend per share over earnings per share times 100. So we need to determine which of these two companies the dividend discount model would be a suitable choice for. So we've got earnings per share, dividend per share, and payout ratio for both companies. So it looks like both pay out some type of dividend. The main difference here, if we're looking at this, is Riot's dividend per share slowly grows. It looks like it grows a penny, then stays, grows a penny, couple pennies, penny, slowly grows up, but the payout ratio is pretty stable. We're at 28, 28, 28, 27. Shandaria keeps their dividend exactly almost the same. We've got one outlier here at 45 cents, but that maybe was just a special dividend. But they're paying 40 cents no matter what the earnings are. So we get a more unstable payout ratio here. So those are the main two differences. And so for the dividend discount model to work best, we're going to want a stable payout ratio, not necessarily a stable dividend amount. And this is because the payout ratio is going to tell us what the dividend is relative to earnings per share. And so if the payout ratio is stable but the dividend is growing, this tells us that earnings are also growing, and that's going to be an important assumption, because we're assuming that dividends are growing in our dividend discount model. So that being said, this is Riot, this is Shandaria. So Riot is going to be a better candidate for the dividend discount model. Shandaria won't be as helpful because the dividend isn't growing. So that said, it would be a suitable choice for Riot, Shandaria, or both. And we determined that would be only Riot. Answer A. Question 3, the value of Riot stock using the dividend discount model is closest to 37, 35, or 50. So we left off just after the exhibit, so we'll start reading there. And it looks like we just need the information on Riot stock in order to kind of do the dividend discount model. So Krish expects Riot Industries to pay a 55-cent dividend in 2018. So that's likely going to be something we need. So note that we're at 2017 right now. So we're expecting the dividend. So this is going to be our D1 in the formula. We won't need to grow it by some amount. Furthermore, he expects the price of the stock to be at $40 in a year. That's also going to be important. So really we're going to be discounting this dividend and the price of the stock back 1 year. And then the required rate of return on the stock is 9%. So we've got all the information we need here. Let's pull in our answer. So the value of the stock using dividend discount model is going to be D1, so dividend next year, which would be our expected dividend next year in 2018. And then we're going to add what our price that we're expecting to be, which is the terminal value. So that'll be $40, and then we're discounting that back just by 1 year since that's our time horizon. So the R will be our 9%. And we plug those numbers in, we see we get 37.2, answer A. Question 4, the Gordon growth model value for Medicaid stock is closest to. So I'm going to pull in our Gordon growth model formula here first so that we kind of know what inputs we're looking for as we go along. So we're going to need our current dividend times the growth rate, or we could just get next year's dividend to replace this amount. And then we're going to do the discount rate minus the growth rate in the denominator to get our value. So we left off at this 9% here, so we'll start reading. Aditya has been following Medicaid, a large-scale drug manufacturer. That's the company we're looking for. The company appears to have a dividend policy of rewarding sustainable increases in profit with increasing dividends. In fact, the payout ratio has been maintained between 30% and 50% for over 10 years. Aditya also notes Medicaid's most recently quarterly dividend received on the 31st of November 2017 amounted to 0.5. That's consistent with the current annual dividend amount of 4 times 0.5 or $2 per year. So that's the number we're going to be using in our formula here. We want to know the yearly dividend amount, not quarterly. The current price of Medicaid stock is 50.5. A forecasted dividend growth rate, that'll be our G, of 5% per year. And the company has a beta of 1.2, while the expected return on the market portfolio stands at 8%, and the risk-free rate of return is 3%. So right now, if we look at this, we've got our $2 a year dividend. So we're going to multiply that by our 1 plus our G. So we have our G, which is 1.05, and then we have G in the denominator. However, we are missing this R, which is going to be our expected return on the stock. So we're not given R, but we can use CAPM to impute R. So we have the beta, we have the market portfolio return, and we have the risk-free rate. So we can use these elements to calculate our R using CAPM, and then we can plug that R into the Gordon growth model. So let's calculate R using CAPM. Like we said, we'll have our risk-free rate, and then we'll add that to our beta times the market risk premium, which is going to be our market portfolio minus the risk-free rate. We multiply that out, add it up, and we get 0.09, so 9%. So now we know we can plug in 9% as our R, and so when we do that, we get that dividend times the growth corresponding there, divided by 0.09, our R over minus 0.05 is our G, gives us 52.5. Answer B.